Sonic Force's success. Chapter 2. The Depth of Space.
I wasn't sure how much time had passed. All I knew was that I was hungry. Hungry and tired. I felt like I was going to go mad, staring at all these stars, hearing nothing. The few times that I saw something that freed me from this prison, I couldn't remember, as if it was hallucinations. Every other moment I worried about getting sucked into some sort of black hole, or a star would implode and I'd be burnt to a crisp, or some other horrifying way to die. My thoughts were nothing but that for a while. It wasn't like I was scared of death. I had always been ready for it. Whenever I fought Eggman, whenever things seemed to get a little bit too hairy. Not only that, but I also never imagined that I would have hit the bucket in the hands of that scientist. And those chances seemed to simply dwindle away with every victory. I guess now, things changed. I wondered how my friends were doing. I hoped they were doing their best to survive and fight back without me. The ridiculous thought that they would somehow find and rescue me would come up every now and then, and I'd fantasize how it'd play out, like their smiles, their faces, their hope. They were the only things that seemed to keep me strung on the slightest bit of sanity, filling me with a lost and sad warmth I knew I wasn't gonna feel ever again. Wish I could return and tell them that. Wish I could tell them everything I'd ever thought or felt, because in this infinite void, I realized that I had never told them this before, and that was a problem. I really am an idiot, aren't I? Wasting something like that just to save my title as a world hero? I think I might have a bigger ego than Shadow. I chuckled weakly at my own joke. Man, I really miss them. Day 3, log number 42. I rasped to myself, or at least felt myself say. I couldn't even hear my own voice. Still floating here. Probably gonna die. Life was fun while it lasted, I suppose. But my time is up. I took a slow breath. For the first time, I focused on my heartbeat. I felt it thump, cherishing it every time. I looked up from my chest, staring at the stars above, hopefully in the direction Mobius was in. Stay safe. And then I closed my eyes to sleep.
Elsewhere.
Helen, can you hand me my wrench, please?
Came the voice of a grown Christopher Thorndyke from underneath a machine, one hand sticking out from the bottom. Helen, watching from a bit a ways, did what she was asked with a small and amused smile, a wedding ring glinting in the light.
What is this supposed to be again?
I'm trying to remake the chaos energy that was stored in the Chaos Emeralds. I'm not sure how well this will work, since it's just the first version. But Grandpa Chuck says that's pretty close.
After a few turns, he pushed himself from underneath the machine with a grin.
Let's eat, I'm starving.
The food had already been set on the table for the two, and they ate in a comfortable silence as the TV in the background reported the daily news. Chris watched it almost intently, as if he was waiting for something to show. Helen noticed him after a while, and placed her fork down with a gentle sigh.
Chris, I know what you're waiting for. Nothing interesting is going to happen.
I don't know. Something about today doesn't feel right. I'm not sure what, but...
He shook his head and looked back at his newly wedded wife.
I have a bad feeling something bad happened to Sonic and his friends. It's been a long couple of years. I've only ever gotten this chill when something like Eggman attacking had happened, or when Sonic was in trouble. But he's in a totally different planet now. How would I even know?
Helen's hand taking his startled him out of his thoughts. He looked up at her and she had a smile on her face.
You of all people should know that Sonic can handle anything. He's strong and incredibly brave. You shouldn't worry about it.
Chris hesitated, then smiled.
Yeah, you're right. I guess it's fine.
He picked up his fork to continue eating once she let his hand go after an encouraging squeeze. But they spoke too soon.
What's that falling from the sky?
The reporter cried suddenly. Both heads turned to the television, where the camera trails on something that shot from the sky in a fury of red and orange flames, faster than a speeding bullet. Chris wasn't sure how many yards it was away from the crew, but they all immediately panicked and ran, the camera turning as the comet hit and shook the ground with a mighty and almost angry force. As the camera fell from the shake, someone in the background works to switch to another camera, one that still pointed in the direction of the comet, rubble from its crash flying into the air and hitting the glass. Chris hadn't known that he had shot up out of his seat, but he couldn't care any less. He stared at his television, almost holding his breath and eyes wide with surprise and anticipation. Helen stared too, almost with the same apprehension and hands folded together. The house was quiet as the camera switched back, showing the backside of the reporter. She looked back, then made a jerking move with her head that meant, "Let's check it out."
She is one fearless woman.
They moved slowly, and the two Thorndikes watched, hoping that they weren't the only ones as surprised in Station Square. Inch by inch, 1 foot after another. The approach went landed, and Chris estimated it had skid at least 4 or 5 feet once hitting the ground, and by the looks of it, it wasn't very big. His heart pounded in his chest, the smoke cleared away slowly, his every breath almost withdrawn with excitement. His heart froze.
What in the world?
Came the cameraman's voice. Helen gasped. So did the reporter, a hand covering her mouth. There lay Sonic the Hedgehog, unconscious and bruised with scars anywhere and everywhere, looking as frail as any other injured being. It looked like he wasn't breathing.